The drama surrounding Bria Hartley has spun into one of the wildest storylines of the season, the kind of saga that blurs the line between competition and fate. It all started with one play, one collision that sent Sophie Cunningham crumpling to the floor, clutching her knee. The arena went silent as trainers rushed over, her teammates forming a protective circle while Sophie couldn't even attempt to stand. The pain was instant, and everyone watching knew it wasn't just a routine fall. What kept fans talking wasn't only the injury, it was the image that surfaced seconds later. Hartley standing nearby, wearing what looked unmistakably like a smirk. A grin in the aftermath of another player's pain. Within minutes, that snapshot exploded across social media, sparking outrage. To fans, it wasn't just bad optics, it was evidence. They saw intent. They saw malice. And they saw a player who seemed to enjoy the damage she'd caused. For Cunningham, the verdict was devastating. A torn MCL season over, hopes of returning crushed in a single moment. For Hartley, the backlash was immediate. She'd already carried a reputation for physical confrontations and reckless play, with past incidents including hair grabs and shoves that fueled her dirty player label. Now the smirk became Exhibit A in what fans called the dirtiest hit of the year. Comment sections filled with accusations. Writers labeled the collision as the most shameful play of the season. Even Sophie's own family spoke up, blasting the league for failing to protect players while penalizing others for daring to criticize officiating. The anger wasn't just aimed at Hartley, it spilled over onto referees and the WNBA itself, accused of turning a blind eye while players like Sophie paid the price. But then came the twist no one could have predicted. Before the league could even issue a ruling, Connecticut announced that Bria Hartley herself would miss the rest of the season. A torn meniscus in her right knee suffered in practice. Just like that, the player branded as reckless and dirty was sidelined by her own devastating injury. The timing was eerie, almost too perfect to ignore. For fans who'd been furious days earlier, the news felt like instant karma. The same week Sophie Cunningham was ruled out with a knee injury, Hartley suffered one of her own. Social media lit up with posts calling it payback, poetic justice, even divine intervention. "Wonder if she's grinning now," one fan wrote. "Instant karma," another said. It was as though the basketball gods had delivered their own punishment, swifter and harsher than anything the league could have handed down. For the Connecticut Sun, it was a gut punch. They lost a key rotation piece at the very moment the season. Intensity was peaking. For Hartley, the irony was brutal. A year defined by physical play and controversy ended not with a suspension or league action, but with her body betraying her in the cruelest way possible. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham showed the grace that made her so easy to root for. Even after being knocked out for the season, she refused to vilify Hartley. On her podcast, she insisted it was just a basketball play, bad timing, not malice. She told fans she and Hartley were friends and that she held no ill will. It was a remarkable contrast to the firestorm raging online. Where fans demanded vengeance, Sophie offered understanding, but Sophie also showed her fight. On social media, she fired off a blunt 4-word message, F around and find out. It was short, sharp, and unmistakably defiant. It reminded everyone that while she could show grace publicly, she wouldn't back down when her family or teammates were attacked. That duality, grace on one side, fire on the other, cemented her as one of the league's most compelling figures. Her family didn't hold back. Her sister and mother blasted the WNBA for its double standards, calling Hartley mean and out of control, demanding officials be held accountable for protecting players. Their anger matched what so many fans were already saying, that the league's priorities were misplaced, handing out fines for words while ignoring dangerous plays that actually ended seasons. Through it all, the Indiana Fever refused to crumble. Kelsey Mitchell erupted with a 38-point masterpiece. Lexi Hull stepped up as a leader, and Aaliyah Boston kept fighting in the paint. Even without Sophie, even with the roster battered by injuries, the team leaned into the resilience she embodied. Every game became proof that Indiana wasn't going to fold, no matter how many hits they took. And with Caitlin Clark's return still looming, the promise of a playoff push remained alive. Hartley's injury grabbed headlines, but the real story now belongs to Sophie Cunningham. She turned outrage into inspiration, pain into perspective, and left her team with a fire that no injury could extinguish. Her refusal to let bitterness define her, even in the face of betrayal, elevated her reputation far beyond what the scoreboard could measure. So maybe this wasn't just coincidence. Maybe it wasn't just bad luck. Maybe, just maybe, it was the kind of poetic balance that sports sometimes delivers, where narratives collide in ways no one can script. What do you think? Was Bria Hartley's season-ending injury pure coincidence, or was it instant karma served cold? And how do you see Sophie Cunningham's comeback shaping the future of the Fever? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the next story.